Okay, for this week, we're actually, um, it shouldn't be too difficult. I'm not saying it won't be. You're going to get some more skin in the game. You're going to put together a more sophisticated budget for yourselves. And again, if you're going to get something out of this course, then I want you to use your numbers. And that's one of the things I've discovered over the years is if you can actually put things together using your numbers, then they can make a lot more sense to you. That's how our brains work, for the most part anyway. I'm not saying that you're not different. But anyway, just a reminder, the net wealth for September is to be updated and completed by the end of this week. Okay? That's one thing that's not on the assignments in this block, but I just gave you an extra week. I wanted you thinking about it for two weeks so you could put together a real comprehensive net wealth. Now, you got to think of these things as just a spreadsheet. It does what you tell it. And I already have formulas referenced in most of that spreadsheet. All you have to do is supply your numbers. But here's the thing, if it doesn't work out logically, then you need to make sure and go through it and say, something's going wrong here. Assets minus liabilities equals your net wealth, net worth. Okay, net wealth being the same thing. So if that's not the case, that's just a real quick, down and dirty way to figure out whether your spreadsheet is working correctly. And so I want you to check that. These are your numbers. You've got skin in the game. And you can track that. We're going to track that through the semester. You're going to track that through the semester. Okay, so we delved into this thing called a budget. It's not as bad as most people let on. It's just actually getting down in the dirt and actually getting it done. Probably the easiest way to put a budget together is like the way that we're proceeding here is that we take a statement from our checking account, the one account, or maybe we have to combine them for running out of a couple. I've simplified I know we went through profit first and it talks about actually having several accounts, but simplify it first. Take one account, categorize your expenditures and your income from that statement. Many people get bogged down in the fact that they want to start at the beginning of the year. Well, it's September now, or it's going to be October here real quick. Usually they get bogged down, don't get it done if they want to start at January 1st. So strategically, I always recommend that you start from now, okay? When you're putting together a bookkeeping system. You can always go back and update from behind, okay? But we don't want to lose that enthusiasm that you might have in the beginning, so that because you need to be up to date. So we can go back and do some things there, but at least we're going to start from now. Now I want you to take a statement. You might have to go through several of them when you're building a budget. Budgeting is a projected activity. So you want to take a budget that projects what would be a normal month, okay? In the beginning, we're gonna massage this budget as we go along. Or that's what the next step would be. Is that first of all we get a representative month, and we go, okay, we're gonna put that in our budget. Next step. Beyond that, if that's all you can do, that's what I want you to do. If the next step would be, say, your budget for October, you only spent $100 in fuel costs. But then in October you got harvest coming up. If it's just your personal budget, you know you're going to take a little foray, you're going to take a vacation, you have to run and see relatives, you got holidays coming up, you know you're going to spend a little more than that, or maybe twice as much in that particular category. That's what I mean by massage that category as you go along. And you're going to do this ahead of time, giving each dollar that you have a name. Okay? That means if you only have a finite number of dollars to spend as far as income, then you're going to have to move things around as you progress and you move into other months. So that gives you some variation within your budgets on a month-to-month basis. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out there. I am going to be hit and miss as far as the next couple of weeks. I've got a couple of contracts that I have to fulfill, and they're going to be out of wireless service. I have scheduled time, and I've tried to put it on the calendar and invite you in for a Zoom. You please leave a message on my cell phone. I don't like to say this, but I want you to know is that the fact that it may take me a couple days to get back to you, but I want to get back to you, okay? So use all the avenues of communication. Cell phone, as far as text and leaving a voicemail is always the best, especially if you need an answer the quickest. And especially with the way that I'm going to be able to communicate in the next couple of weeks. Beyond next week, it might come into concern for you and for me, and I want to get back to you as soon as I can. So we're going to take the budgeting to another level. We're going to discuss another thing beyond your cash flow budget, irregular income, something that we deal with in agriculture all the time. Irregular income being the fact that we sell our commodities at once a year or only at a couple of times a year when we actually market it, and then we have to spread that income over the whole year or a portion of the year. So we'll discuss how to deal with that. It's just an exercise, and you don't have to actually do anything, just consume that for now, just to know that there is an answer for that, because that's one of the pushback I get sometimes, like, I don't know how much I'm going to make. Well, you budget conservatively when it gets right down to it, and you'll just be fine. And then you add this extra skill level of budgeting for irregular income, and it becomes a very simplified process, actually. And if you have any questions about that, I'd just love to delve into it with you individually, and because it's different for every person. And that's this animal, this thing about budgeting. If you can get this down when you're a little bit younger, I know I have a broad spectrum of people in this class, but if you can get this down at any point in your life, it's going to benefit you financially. Okay, so hopefully this helps. I'm going to shut her off right here. I only have 2 things which are included in the block, but again, I want to remind you, don't forget to hand in your net wealth for September, that spreadsheet. You're going to have your own cash flow budget that you're going to put together. And then you're also going to, I want you to listen to the first 15 minutes is all of the meetings podcast. And then I have some study guide questions for you to turn in for that. So we'll listen to the extended version of that podcast later on in the semester, maybe next week. So be thinking about that. And I'll have a few more comments probably next week about meetings. Something that we all love to hate. Okay? So I wish you the best. God bless you. And we'll talk to you soon if you have any questions.